Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Luke here and Ghost again. Welcome.
I am here again. What's up?
Awesome.
Let's go.
Woo. So basically, I'm sure if you're aware that QuantX is next week. And today we thought we'd just quickly, we always say quickly, but knowing Ghost and I, it'll probably drag on. We'll do our best. We just thought we'd give a quick overview of what QuantX is, and who's speaking and what we might expect from the agenda and the panels. So basically, just to give a quick overview, I thought we'd talk about FinTech Connect and the fact that QuantX is being co-located. So what that means is FinTech Connect is one of the largest FinTech events in the world. I think there's like 6,000 attendees or something. And QuantX has got rooms inside the event hosting their own sort of QuantX event, right? Cool. Anything you want to add there?
Pretty amazing
Yeah.
to have. I think we're not just a member of like someone attending, but we actually have our own little section. And as we'll see later, we also have like I think a rep from BBC moderating several panels for us. So
Yeah.
we're gonna get some good press from this too.
Should be
It's
good.
nice. Yeah.
Gilbert is also actually speaking on the actual FinTech Connect main event as well. I would bring that up, but I don't want to go digging
Oh,
for it.
wait. You know what? We should also bring up, I think, Iona Supernatau, or do you remember her from City?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she was going to originally be in QuantX, but apparently they moved her from QuantX to the main stage.
Main stage. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
interesting. A little tiny tear there, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So I thought what I would actually show you is kind of just what happened last year. There was a Quantex event last year. It was kind of like the event looked pretty sleek. Yeah, there are the videos online, and the team has told us that they're going to be recording some videos and that they'll put it up on YouTube similar to last year. So we should be able to see it. That'd be good. All right, so we're going to dive straight in.
Uh-huh.
All right. So basically, what can we expect? Learn, network, and implement. So, I guess we should go through this. Learn how Overledger will impact various verticals from fintech to fisheries. I like that. Expand your knowledge. Learn from innovators. Be the first to hear about business news, product launches, and industry announcements. Interesting. I think networking is probably one of the biggest things, Ghost, with a lot of the big, I don't know if you guys know about FinTech Connect, but it's literally got like the biggest names in FinTech in the world are going to be there. So hopefully some of them stop by Quantex as well.
It seems like a place where London really wants to show off their homegrown talent. So yeah, really good, a really good spot for Quant to be.
I think I'm most excited about this last section. It's got like, we're going to see some demos and case studies as well. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, Overledger is the crown jewel of Quant, and so they're definitely going to show off what it's capable of and explain to people how essentially anyone who's working in DLT or even just wants access to it would be wise to do so through Overledger. So
Cool.
yeah.
All right. So let's start off. Welcome video. Cool. Probably just be a little spiel. This is the BBC reporter that
Zoe
that Ghost mentioned. She's actually pretty cool. It looks like she'll be kind of emceeing the event, I suppose you could say. Then we got Gilly coming up. Look, he's got 35 minutes talking about hyperconnected world. Probably going to get
just himself.
just himself. He loves that. He's going to be
Yeah.
crushing that.
He's
Probably
gonna crush it.
talking about.
I mean, he's basically in like what half of these panels.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well rounded.
So he's going to be a busy man to that day. For sure.
I know, geez. Be epic. So the first one, Hyperconnected World, he might touch on Overledger Network there. Moving on, we got what is blockchain's impact on the financial sector and what roles does interoperability play? So obviously we talk a lot about fintech and DLT with, real-time gross settlement, delivery versus payment, trade consortiums and stuff like that. So now we're going to dive into some of the names and Ghost, check out who we've got first up.
Oh, we've got Marta.
Marta. So who is Marta? Marta.
Marta
Uh,
Piekarska, yeah.
I was
Gaither.
I was literally about to say, I'm
Piekarska.
like, I'm not even going to attempt the name, and then Coach just like,
Piekarska. I'm just jiving in, dude. I don't care.
good. That's brave.
so,
So,
so
M,
our
we'll
girl
call it.
Marta.
So who is she? She's the director of ecosystem at Hyperledger. So no small feat. Uh,
Well, notice there that it's like from the Linux Foundation.
yes.
So she. Well, let's look at this. So she was a security architect at Blockstream, which is pretty cool in and of itself.
I actually didn't know that. Yeah.
Blockstream, yeah, Blockstream is the one of the main, not if not the main developer for Bitcoin right now, the
Yeah.
Bitcoin Core protocol. And so she came from there. While was there, also was for the blockchain community group at the W3C. Worked for Telecom Labs, which is
Interesting.
really cool. And a chief engineer, like, so she's no schmuck, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And and now so she comes from the Linux Foundation and is kind of is the one of the key pieces that connects the Linux Foundation to Hyperledger and mediates that that connection.
Right.
So, like when it says she's a director of ecosystem, she's like kind of crafting how Hyperledger is developed.
I think it's also pretty interesting that she's actually speaking at Quantex pretty much all day because I assume she's pretty busy.
She's all over that.
Dare I say she's probably one of our strongest connects into the Hyperledger ecosystem. She crops up a lot. She was also at Cybos. I thought this,
Notorious.
I thought this would be a funny, a kind of just a cool image. This is Toby Box, head of financial at Quant, and this is Marta here, pointing at Quant. And I just thought
I forgot the name of the lady to the left of her, or to her right.
I know, I forgot her too. Hang on.
But I think she's also involved with.
No, yeah, she's important.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
We'll have to cover her later, I guess.
We'll have to do that. Yeah. All right. So that's Marta. Pretty cool. Who we got next? All right. So she's actually moderating this panel, and the speakers we've got Gilly, because obviously Gil's got a big background in financial, Bank of England, Mastercard, all that, blah blah blah. You guys know his history.
Oh yeah.
Interesting speaker here to say the least. I would say very interesting. Antonio, I'm not going to try the last name, although it looks much easier.
Senatore.
All right, perfect. Us Australians aren't great with European names. I'm going to be 100% honest.
Hey, I mean, the British sent you away for a reason.
True. Ooh, jeez. Wow. Low blow, bro.
Just kidding. All right.
Anyway, so who is he? He's the CTO for Deloitte Blockchain Labs, right? So if we go over to his profile, he's actually, interesting enough, he's actually the global CTO for Deloitte Blockchain, right? So he's like the head poncho for Deloitte. And if you don't know who Deloitte is, they're one of the big consultancy companies in the world, I guess. And he also co-leads...
They're the big four. They're a key part of the big four.
One of the big four. He also co-leads the EMEA blockchain lab. So basically...
That stands for Europe, Middle East, and Asia.
Yeah. Perfect.
Also, we have a VeChain, actually.
Yeah, an interesting connect to VeChain. He's kind of the... I don't know much about VeChain, but I know that they harp on a lot about their Deloitte connection. And I believe Antonio is the man. He's like the bridge between those two. So perhaps we see some interesting VeChain connections along the way. Anyway,
VeChain recently actually announced that they were not only working with a bridge from Europe to China goods, but also they have Walmart China digitizing and tracking goods for Walmart in China.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Good on them.
Yeah, exactly.
So
let's go next. Let's go. We have an example of how Antonio, a really interesting project that Deloitte's involved with.
Yeah.
Which is where do we have DBP? Where have we seen that before?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Ghost, because the very next thing on the list is a demo by our boy Toby Box, the head of financial services, and he's doing blockchain connections, multi-chain delivery versus payment demo.
Huh.
So
pretty cool.
We've touched on what delivery versus payment is, but should we just do it? Should we do like a brief overview again, Ghost, just quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. So delivery versus payment just refers to the settlement of securities against money. So central bank money versus like CSDs, which are central securities depositories, that settle who owns what. And so what this shows is that essentially, or what, let's say like here in this example, Project Ubin, which is being mediated by the Monetary Authority of Singapore and Singapore Exchange, are having this. So again, Monetary Authority of Singapore, they steward the Singapore dollar. Singapore Exchange, that's their stock exchange. And so each of them have a DLT, and delivery versus payment is just the making sure that these ledgers have interoperability with one another. And they're separate DLTs, and this is essential for security. So having this partitioned and use case specific DLTs work together in a secure manner is pretty important. And so Deloitte worked on this with Quant and Nasdaq actually, and Quant actually is the private company that comes from Zilliqa. So Zilliqa, which is a public blockchain project, and they announced that they're not, it's really interesting as well, they're not making any private chain technology. Everything's going to run on their public chain. They make this sharded blockchain that can scale, as they say, ad infinitum. So as many shards as they need. And they're pretty homegrown and integrated into the Singapore ecosystem. So the fact that they're involved with this, with the Monetary Authority of Singapore and Singapore Exchange, means that there's this is a like a home team that they're rooting for. Deloitte's like right in the thick of it.
Cool.
So
yeah,
perhaps a lot of cool stuff.
Perhaps we see something similar to that in the demo. But basically, we're just kind of giving you an overview of a real-life use case that's going underway at the moment and how Deloitte kind of fits into it. The next person on the list, if I'm getting ahead of myself, here we go. So we've had the demo. The next one we've got is reimagining sustainability.
Wait, you can't ignore the refreshments.
True. My apologies. The free breakfast. The free refreshment break and explanation, 20 minutes. Be quick. The next one, reimagining sustainability with blockchain. How can blockchain navigate the complexities of global supply chains? Now, I should have got that great graphic up. Anyway, there's a great graphic Gilbert did once.
Just imagine it.
I'm imagining
Everyone, just imagine it.
All right, I'll describe it. So you've got the picture of the globe, right? And in every different country, there's different trade consortiums and networks. Right, and that's basically what a global supply chain is. And so it's very easy to see how distributed ledger with the public traceability, auditability, and free flowing of network trade requires interoperability and stuff like that. So it's very easy to see how supply chain comes up here. Mm-hmm. Our moderator, Ben Tregana, head of informatics.
Hey, you hit that one. That was good.
I know, I was proud of that.
There's hope for you yet.
Jeez. And head of informatics at UNEP WCMC. Right, so who is that? Basically, it's kind of like I don't even know how you would explain it. Well, let's just read it. UN Environment Program World Conservation Monitoring Center is a world leader in biodiversity knowledge. Right.
So essentially what that means is that they're keeping a trace of like genomic data all over the world.
Right.
Like whenever you see the restrictions on like, you can't bring in seeds or other animal or plant matter from one place to another. This is kind of like the regulatory body that's kind of influencing those policies. So they're preserving biodiversity and trying to, and the UN is all about sustainable development goals, and they're trying to, promote that. So some pretty high goals for them for sure.
Right. So Ben heads up informatics, which is kind of like a branch of that UNEP group, and basically they make software that helps within the sustainability and traceability kind of side of things.
Absolutely.
As you can imagine, biodata and things like that can be quite complex. So, anything else we wanted to add there, Ghost? I don't think so.
I mean, informatics. Basically, it's like sounds like a big word, but it's basically just like systems engineering.
Right.
So
I think it's
bureaucracy engineering.
I think it's
another
actually
word.
I think it's actually pretty cool that we've got a whole panel on sustainability with blockchain, especially with that announcement about the fisheries and tracking fish and stuff. It's pretty cool to see that there's use cases even there to help, save the environment or, at least make things more efficient and stuff. Cool. So who's actually on the panel? Ben's the moderator, so obviously he's very knowledgeable on the subject. But Dr. Luke Riley, a recent-ish hire, head of innovation at Quant Labs. Quickly flick through him. He's from King's College. He did a lot of research into, correct me if I'm wrong, Ghost, governance models and things like that. Is that correct?
Yeah. He was actually he actually gave a critique of EOS's voting model,
right?
Which is really honestly it was, in my opinion, poorly considered. And he gave them like a better like model of like, hey, you should vote this way instead of that way. I don't recall the specifics in his critique, but like it was a very, very good job, very good piece of research.
Cool.
And applied research. But yeah, he's a badass. He's gonna do a great job.
Sweet. Oh, my cat's gonna interrupt us. Anyway, next on the list, definitely not gonna attempt this name. I'm so sorry. She's a community manager. Possibly.
I think I don't know if I don't know where she's from, but it's an interesting name.
Yeah, we haven't heard much from her, but good to see that she'll be on the panel as well, getting involved. So maybe we'll see some insights there about her experience and history. Next one, definitely interesting for us in the crypto space. Benjamin Jorgensen, co-founder and CEO of Constellation or DAG. And so we thought basically we would just talk about what DAG is and how they could come into this. Ghost, you want to jump
so
on here?
It seems that Constellation is another one that Benjamin has a lot of, or Mr. Jorgensen has a lot of a presence at QuantX, and he in particular, I think, is going to be talking about big data and how Constellation helps secure data provenance. So that just means like sourcing, and then relay, so transport from one source like a data lake about say car data that like Toyota accumulates to an AI that like could use that data in order to have a model about how smart autonomous car works. And so Constellation has a really I think eloquent and quite frankly groundbreaking consensus algorithm that assures data integrity, and it as far as I can tell scales as far as you need it, and is really quite extensible. You can use it for a whole bunch of different use cases, more than just big data. And we may see Quant and Constellation be used together in ways that will surprise us in the coming days, weeks, months. So we'll just see. We'll see.
Perfect.
They're really promising technology.
I think it's awesome just to see the fact that we rant about network and network of networks all the time, and I think you guys, if you're watching this, you need to understand that Overledger's value increases exponentially with these networks that we're onboarding. So I think in the future we're going to see a lot more of these ecosystem growth projects like Constellation, mutually beneficial relationships where Overledger integrates with them and maybe they can integrate with us, and there's mutually beneficial relationships there. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next person, interesting addition, Genevieve. She's the principal founder and CEO of AgriLedger. And so, of course, we're talking about, where are we? Talking about the complexities. Sustainability and complexities of global supply chains. And AgriLedger basically is a supply chain for agriculture. They have traceability for the customers, farmers, suppliers, consumers, governments, all sorts of things. It looks like they actually won a special prize from Singularity University. So
yeah, Singularity University is a really cutting edge like academic institution that's really focused on AI. So, and among other things, but yeah.
Right. So it's a quite a diverse group. I think it's going to be a good panel to listen to, just from different use cases and perspectives. The next one, what do we got? How do we democratize big data through interoperability to benefit people? So we've got moderator Marta, and again we've got Benjamin and Gilbert. Pretty obvious why Constellation and Ben would be talking. Gilly there with his interoperability. Do we think we can talk about?
And then Constellation's consensus algorithm, Pro, which is proof of reputable opinion, scales to really, really, really fine granularity. I mean, like maybe even finer than your cell phone.
Right.
I don't know how fine it does. It scales to, and like the amount of like representation you can have on it, but it's out there and it's pretty powerful. So essentially, like they're asking, how do you democratize like big data? So how do you preserve someone's sovereign right to their data while still using that as a commodity they can give to, say, a company or an AI that wants to use that data? And the interoperability comes into play because you're connecting all these different systems together. And it's not just going to be one system. It's not just going to be one monolith. It's going to be a whole ecosystem. And so we've actually seen Benjamin talk about this, is that they look at this DLT field not as like a product, but like as a emerging ecosystem. I think they understand that like kind of the scale of what's coming. So it's gonna be a cool one. I want to see that one.
Perfect. I'm excited for all of them, but I just think it's cool that kind of going a little bit off track, that Overledger and Quant can help all of these verticals. I mean, these aren't small verticals. We're talking about fintech, finance, delivery versus payment. We're talking about logistics and supply chains with sustainability. Yep. The next one, we've got bloody big data and AI, and the next is healthcare.
Implicitly, yeah.
It's just so cool to see all of these different verticals and use cases coming to fruition, and I'm excited. Cool.
Absolutely.
All right, better keep moving. Next one, transforming.
Marta again.
Yep, Marta. She's a Chad, isn't she?
She's what'd you call her? Not a Chad, it's Stacy.
Stacy, is that what it is? How did
I don't know.
No, it works. Cool.
Okay.
So this one is 45 minutes long. Probably, I think
she's a Marta, whatever she is.
Yeah, a Marta.
Incomparable.
Classic.
Let's keep going.
It's a large panel, but it's for a large topic. So transforming healthcare with blockchain. What are the opportunities for healthcare from blockchain adoption? So we've got Marta as a moderator. Maybe we'll just touch on why healthcare is an issue. I don't know if you guys realize, you probably do, but healthcare has a massive interoperability issue between not only like client and patient records, but also just databases and systems. They're not very fluid. And I think London and the UK, particularly in collaboration with the NHS, are very focused on this area. And I think blockchain...
Yo, Luke, do you know what I just realized?
What's up?
The NHS is a public permissionless system. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, because it's like a public good. No one pays for it.
Right.
Well, government does, obviously, but like...
It's
But like so there's so much chaos in the NHS right now. because everyone, it's a free for all, that the government's handing out money and partitioning it as they see as the best they can. But when you have like this like influx of people, and frankly an aging population that needs more and more health, the level of like of care people need, the new treatments and keeping up to date, and exchanging data securely, it's a mess. And so interoperability, like you said, is an essential part of like and building the connective tissue of the NHS and all the different areas of it. It needs like more advanced digital systems than we have today, or the UK does. I don't live in the UK, but,
Right.
and anyone who does, I can attest that the NHS is quite a beast of a system.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note here that you'll find out more when we go into the true and stuff like that. But I think Gilbert actually chairs the DLT committee for healthcare in London, in
Yes.
the UK.
Yeah.
He chairs it alongside NHS as well, and I think he's mentioned numerous times that healthcare is a big passion for him. Obviously, with his past experience in New South Wales Health Department, I think he's mentioned before that that's kind of where the idea, he saw the siloed nature of the healthcare industry, and he saw it kind of cropping up in the same sort of way that blockchains were being built and how blockchain could help it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. That's where Overledger came from.
I think we better keep moving or we're going to be here forever. The next speaker, pretty cool, Robert Lerney, PhD. He's the lead technologist at, where does he work? Digital Catapult, right? All right, so what does Digital Catapult, Ghost?
So Digital Catapult is the it's a one of the branches of Innovate UK, which is yet another branch of the UK Innovation and Research and Innovation branch,
Right.
which is a federally funded research agency from the UK. And so Digital Catapult, and there's all these catapult initiatives in a lot of the former Queen colonies as well. But they're essentially like accelerators for but not about companies, but about like specific like ideas. And so what you'll see is that Digital Catapult, if we can go back, is involved with like let's click on the homepage.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, no worries. So yeah, we've got VR, we've got machine intelligence. They really like VR. Wow. Let's keep
Weird
going
website.
now. So creativity. I know for certain they're all about 5G, smart grid initiatives, smart cars, smart cities. And so essentially what you're seeing is that Innovate UK has $6 billion every year in order to, it might not be every year, it might be in total, I'm not sure, but they got a hefty sum.
Budget
Yeah,
was
6 billion, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's the UKRA, but the UKRA has like a $6 billion check to just innovate as much as they can.
Crazy.
So how does this go back to Robert? Robert leads DLT investigations for Digital Catapult, and so he's a visionary that is looking to bootstrap a whole bunch of cool projects on a federal and private level. Also he was deeply involved with the Imperial College Center for Research and Engineering. So that's also very interesting.
It's really,
but go ahead.
I think I was just it's nothing important. I was just gonna say it's just cool to see so many smart people coming together. I think the panels are gonna be absolutely awesome, to be honest.
Yeah, this guy's gonna have a lot of great insight.
Cool.
I remember actually, I think I saw a video of him. Like, he's pretty involved with NHS adoption of blockchain. And I think I remember him also mentioning a need for interoperability, but it could be projected here. So I don't know exactly. But definitely they're looking at it at the very least. Who do we have next? We got Manrit Nijar.
Yeah.
So he co-founded True, and we brought this little interesting. We'll go up to the top for now. He gave an interesting talk with Microsoft Ignite about identity, and how it relates to the NHS system. And so True is essentially it is a company that works on Sovereign. So Sovereign is a DLT based foundation that mediates this architecture that's also stored in Hyperledger as Hyperledger India. And they're pushing the forefront of digital ID standards and implementation. And so True is one of the application providers that's working on Sovereign. And as you see, like, I'm super grateful to fellow Decentralized Identity Foundation members, Evernym, Sovereign, and Microsoft, all working together collaboratively. And Evernym themselves, they recently closed a funding round that saw Barclays as well. So they seem to be involved in the UK space, at least in taking Sovereign over there. And so if we see in the first comment below,
Robert.
Robert.
Looney.
Let's go.
So I think it's I think True is pretty much at the forefront for this whole healthcare issue and digital identity and DLT, and it's kind of cool to see a bit of a web of connections coming up with like Robert, Manrit, NHS, True, Sovereign. I think I have Microsoft even. I mean, yeah, he worked at NHS as well. He still works there now.
He's a fellow. I mean, he's a doctor.
Yeah, I think that's where he came up with the idea. But all right, who is next? Next is actually Lara Verdian. If you didn't know, the wife of Gilbert. Actually,
so pretty cool.
Pretty cool in itself, I suppose. She heads up the head of healthcare. She's also acting CEO in the interim. She's come from Deloitte, and she worked at a lot of large pharmaceutical companies. And so it's very obvious as to why she's on the healthcare panel. She heads up the health initiative.
It seems that she's used to this interim title. So because she was at both GSK and Intercept while she was at Deloitte. So that's pretty cool.
She's also written a lot of papers about
healthcare
economics and pharmaceuticals as well. So I'm actually interested to see her talk. I haven't seen pretty much anything from her, so it'd be really good to see her on the panel.
Absolutely.
This might be a familiar name for some of you guys. Helen Disney, CEO and founder of healthcare Unblocked Events. So if you guys probably been following Quant for a while, you know that Unblocked Events run, I guess we can bring up their site. Basically, they run a lot of blockchain sites and stuff in the London scene. Gilbert spoke at, I believe, at minimum. I can't remember if he's spoken on more.
Two different ones recently.
Yeah, the supply chain one, and even just recently the healthcare one. So it's pretty cool to see there's a bit of a connection there. It's also funny as well that the thing here is, can blockchain save the
NHS? Can they? I don't know.
I think this is the one Gilbert
Stay
did.
tuned to find out.
2020. But Gilbert spoke at the recent
one. Hey, who's that in the middle?
Here.
Richard Stockley.
I haven't heard that name. Should I?
He was on a panel with Gilbert.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. For the supply chain.
I'm clicking it.
Yeah, this guy. He's got a great mustache.
He does have a very good mustache. So Helen Desi, it's pretty obvious to see the connection there.
She's essentially like the old guard for blockchain in Great Britain. She's very deeply embedded in the scene.
Yeah,
lots of great connections.
I like it. Unblocked Events. They've been great. The supply chain one was good.
The
healthcare one. I'd love to see the healthcare presentation actually. Next one, an interesting addition. Unka, I'm not even going to try it because I'd butcher it.
Peter?
Petre? I don't know.
Petre? Petre? It's like Peter, but not.
Petre. Yeah, we better stop butchering names. Hope she doesn't watch it.
I don't think we can't not. There's just such a diverse group of people.
I know, and that's why I'm so excited. There's so much different expertise and use cases all coming together. It's going to be such a broad. Yeah. I don't even think they're going to have enough time. But anyway, she's the co-founder and CEO of 23 Consulting. She does a lot of digital health and blockchain talks. She's spoken at TEDx before. It seems that they do a lot of consulting work on particularly on blockchain projects. So you can see why she'd be brought in for this. I think she's.
It seems that she's pretty focused on at least one part, which is like supply chain and like tracking pharmaceutical spread, which is a huge problem in the Americas. We have some major issues with overdosing because doctors who have incredible amounts of supply will just push pills on people and literally prescribe away pain, not fix the fundamental issue, and get people addicted on painkillers because it benefits their pocketbook and it gets them from an economic perspective. It's just not right. It's not the way to go. So this is definitely a key issue that I think Anka is really passionate about. So to see her here is really, really encouraging too. So
yeah, I think it's going to be good. She I just reading her bio here.
She's French.
Yeah, she's French too. It's going to be diversity, bro. It says she trains and assists major players in the sector on an international scale, including pharmaceutical corporations, startups, and hospitals. Just also an interesting thing. I was trying to find some information on her. She's actually talking at this European blockchain convention in Barcelona with quite an impressive list of speakers. You have Santander, Bank of England, VeChain, ING.
I mean, it speaks for itself.
Yeah,
as Luke scrolls through this, feel free to pause the video and look up each of these guys if you wish, or go to eblockchainconvention.com/Barcelona, and
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and there she is, Anka. And Everest, interesting.
Next to Everest.
Polymath as well. Microsoft. Securitize, good to see. Cool. Alright, so I'm interested to see what she's got to say. The final panel, I guess you could say it's the final panel. Fireside chat, blockchain trends, adoptions, and pitfalls. We've got Zoe moderating again. Speakers, we've got Antonio. We've touched on him, the Deloitte bloke. And of course, you guys will know Paolo. I don't know how you say it properly.
Paolo Tasca.
Is that how you say it? Paolo
Tasca. Yeah.
Tasca. Right. So obviously, co-founder and advisor to Quant. He heads up the UCL CBT, which is the
Center for Blockchain Technologies.
Yep. I can't. There's so much to talk about with Paolo. It's actually unbelievable. But I suppose you could look into him and his website.
He's just so influential. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I can't see any way he isn't involved with, the recent Token Taxonomy Act.
Yeah. That
was submitted to the U.S. Senate.
Yep.
Or it wasn't the Senate. I think it was the House of Reps. But yeah, so I can't see any way that he doesn't build off his work in token taxonomy, like blockchain taxonomies.
Well, I'm just
he cut his teeth there, and that's what he's doing for the ISO/TC 307 as well. So it's it seems like a pretty
yeah, he's well renowned actually, and he has so many connections just alone with obviously with Quant and UCL. Then you got, I think he's even in some Chinese connections, Swiss, Italian.
We can go over that later.
The list could go on here, but I think it's just I'm just excited to see the power team, Paolo and Gilbert,
We're finally back together.
Yeah, I mean, Apello holds patent rights as well because
With Gilbert, yeah.
him and UCL helped develop Overledger in the early days. So I'm pretty excited to see him there. Finally, Quant Outlook for 2020 and close. It's going to be pretty cool. See what they're working on, see what their plans are. Gilly's talking for 20 minutes. We know who Gilly is. And then we've got networking reception. So anyone there, we get to go chat around and talk to the team. Should be good. Anything you wanted to add, Ghost? Before
let's look at the speakers, just like the visuals.
Cool.
Yeah,
Toby.
This is who we got.
Dun-dun.
Mm-hmm.
I should Photoshop.
It's gonna be a good list.
It is. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. I think the main thing as well to keep in mind is that this list has changed several times. Since the beginning.
I think AgriLedger was only added like a day or two ago as well, so
it's pretty recent. Yeah, and also I think that last little talk about the vision in 2020. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't remember it being called that. I could bring up what is that thing called? Wormhole or something?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It is as it is.
So basically,
good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the takeaway there is this list could change in the next week. I also want to just touch on sentiment. I know a lot of people are expecting like big announcements or bombs or something to be dropped, right? I don't think the event's it's not really for that.
You know what? We don't know anything.
We don't know. Yeah.
They may drop amazing things that no one expects, and they may just keep it solely to the above titles.
I think
the best thing to do is just to not expect anything, but be ready for anything.
Well said, Ghost.
So we're just gonna see what happens, and we're in this for the long game.
I think
this is a long marathon we're in.
I think for me, why I'm so excited about Quantex is because us as a community, especially with Gilly and the team being so corporate focused, we feel on the outskirts a little bit sometimes, and I'm just excited for this because every one of these talks is going to have juice. I mean, I can't see how Gilbert's not going to talk about their plants, especially with the demo. I mean, we're going to see this all in action. I'm excited. I think the panels and demos alone are going to be awesome. If you are going to QuantX, you lucky bastards. Now, I do know a lot of people missed out. I would be going, but I live quite literally the furthest away humanly possible. So, yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing a live stream while Quantex was on, like a 6-hour hangout on YouTube or something. But
well, you should get a Twitch account, get Dread Bongo's feed or whoever else wants to put a feed up, and then like do a live
hangouts. I was thinking,
that'd be so like Quamfy Lounge, a live session. That'd be awesome.
I'll look into it. I was thinking about doing it, especially if I can get some people who are there to send me through some footage or something, and I can throw it up on the screen. And the only problem is, it's gonna sound whack, but it starts at literally 2 a.m. for me, so it would be like a 2 to 8 a.m. stint. But you know what? I'm gonna think about it. If you guys would want to, I mean, most people probably be working. But if you want to sneak on your phones at work or something and just hang out, I mean, obviously I'll just be chatting in the chat the entire time. I might fall asleep, have a nap. So anyway, that's just something to think about.
I don't know how do you co-stream something.
Well,
you know what I mean? How would you do that?
Well, I would just stream my screen to YouTube. You mean if I wanted to put up footage from?
Well, no. If we wanted to host something together, or involve someone else. I don't know.
We would just have a chat room like we're doing now on Zoom, and anyone could join it. I guess we could do that. That would be cool. We could do that. We should do that like an open chat while Quantex is on. Anyone, if you want to join,
Twitch.
Chat. Twitch
is the best.
Is that a thing?
One.
I don't
You
want
don't
to.
know what Twitch is?
I know what it is, but I don't want to deviate
Oh, okay.
from YouTube. That's all. Anyway,
Okay, I mean,
all right,
yeah, you can do YouTube too. You can do YouTube as well.
we
Yeah,
are
absolutely.
we are definitely getting off track here. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. I'm excited to see the panels and the demos and just get a little bit more information on what the team's up to. Have a good week. Stay safe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Stay quamfy.
Stay
And let me know if
quampy.
you have any questions. All right, take care, guys. See you later.
See ya.
Bye, guys.